and daily habits every woman must master. Ladies, let me speak to the woman inside you. Not the role you play, not the titles they gave you, not the expectations they placed on you, but the soul that knows she was made for more. You see, success isn't an accident. Confidence isn't inherited. Peace isn't a gift someone else gives you. All of it, every single thing you desire, starts with your daily habits. And if you want to rise, to grow, to lead, to love deeply, not just others, but yourself, there are 10 habits you must choose, not once, but every single day. Let's go. 1, wake up for yourself, not the world, before the world comes knocking, before the noise, the messages, the chaos. Wake up for you. Start your day intentionally. Whether it's a prayer, a walk, or a silent cup of tea, give yourself a moment of ownership. If your morning belongs to you, your day will too. 2, speak kindly to the mirror. Your inner voice can be your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. Every morning, stand in front of the mirror and choose kindness. You're worthy. You're capable. You are enough. Because until you speak love to yourself, you'll keep chasing it in places that can't give it. 3, write your truth. Keep a journal. Not just to remember what happened, but to understand how you felt, what you learned, and what you still desire. A woman who writes her truth knows herself deeply, and a woman who knows herself is impossible to silence. 4, nourish to flourish. This body, this miraculous, fierce body needs your attention. Water, good food, movement. Not to shrink it, but to celebrate it. To honor the vessel that carries your dreams, your pain, and your fire. 5, protect your energy like a queen guards her crown. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every voice deserves your ears. Protect your energy, guard your peace. You do not owe your presence to people who drain your spirit. Your time and space are sacred. Treat them that way. 6, challenge yourself daily. Every day, do one thing that scares you just a little. Send the email. Speak your mind. Set the boundary. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from courage. And courage is a daily decision, not a personality trait. 7, feed your mind like you feed your body. Read something, learn something, even for 5 minutes. A woman who keeps growing mentally becomes unstoppable. Knowledge doesn't just open doors, it builds them and puts the key in your hand. 8, practice gratitude loudly and often. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a discipline. Even on the hard days, even when it hurts, there is always something to be thankful for. Speak it out, write it down. A grateful heart can carry you through storms that would drown the ungrateful. 9, unplug to realign. The world will not end if you put your phone down. The notifications can wait. Every day, take at least 30 minutes to unplug. Breathe, stretch, sit in silence. Let your mind detox. Let your spirit reconnect. In the stillness, you remember who you are. 10, end the day with grace, not guilt. Stop going to bed with shame on your pillow. You did your best today. Maybe not perfect, but powerful in your effort. Let go. Forgive yourself. Give yourself the grace you give others. Rest isn't laziness. It's preparation for your rise. Wake up for yourself, not the world. There's a moment before the phone lights up, before the news floods in, before the world starts pulling on you, when the day is still yours. That sacred pause between sleep and chaos holds the power to shift your entire life. But most of us, we've been conditioned to wake up in response, not in intention, but in reaction. We wake up because we have to, not because we choose to. We reach for our phones before we've even reached for our thoughts. We check in with the world before we check in with ourselves. And in that single moment, without even realizing it, we surrender the one thing that was completely ours, our peace. But what if you didn't start your day for the world? What if you started your day for you? Not for the deadlines, not for the to-do list, not for the emails, the demands, the opinions, or the chaos waiting on the other side of the screen, but for your soul, for your energy, for your alignment. When you wake up for yourself, you begin to live on purpose. You start to move from intention, not from pressure. You begin to choose your emotions, not absorb everyone else's. You no longer run through your day chasing meaning, because you start the day already connected to it. It begins in the stillness. Maybe it's just 5 minutes before the rest of the house wakes up. Maybe it's a quiet stretch at the window with the sun on your face. Maybe it's a handwritten affirmation or a whispered prayer, or just breathing deeply into your body and saying, "Today I choose peace." That's where the transformation begins. Not in a dramatic shift, but in a sacred decision to put yourself first. Because when you wake up and immediately give your time, your thoughts, and your heart to everyone but yourself, you slowly erase your center. And when you're disconnected from your center, you spend your whole day searching for grounding in other people, in busyness, in validation. But you are your own anchor. And every morning is a chance to return to her, the real you. You don't need a 2-hour ritual or a perfect sunrise. You just need a moment to remind yourself that you are not here to survive this day. You are here to live it, to shape it, to feel it. Start by asking yourself, what do I need today? What do I want to feel today? What energy am I choosing to carry into this world? Because when you ask those questions, you begin to lead your day instead of letting the day lead you. And don't get it twisted. This isn't selfish. This isn't indulgent. This is self-leadership. This is emotional intelligence. This is spiritual alignment. This is the quiet work of powerful women. The world will always have demands. People will always want more from you. There will always be something that feels urgent. But you are important. You deserve to begin your day connected to your power, not scrambling to find it halfway through. So tomorrow morning, before the messages, before the scroll, before the noise, just sit with yourself. Even if it's just a breath, even if it's just a whisper, even if it's just a hand over your heart and the words, "I've got you today." That moment, that's where freedom begins. Because when a woman wakes up for herself, she remembers her worth before the world has a chance to question it. She sets her tone, she protects her peace, she walks out the door already full, not desperate to be filled. And the truth is, no external success, no title, no achievement will ever feel as good as being in alignment with your own spirit. So rise, not for them, not for the noise, not for the race, but for you. Because you deserve a life that starts with intention, not obligation. You deserve mornings that whisper, "You are whole," before the world tries to convince you otherwise. And every single day, you have the power to begin again. So wake up for yourself. There's a moment each day that we often overlook. It happens quietly. When you walk past a mirror, maybe you're brushing your hair, maybe you're adjusting your clothes, maybe you're in a rush barely noticing, but for a fleeting second, your eyes meet your own reflection. And in that moment, whether you say anything or not, your mind speaks. And too often, it doesn't speak kindly. It says you look tired, you're getting older, you should have done more, you're not enough. And we accept it. We let those words settle into our spirit like they belong there. We let the harsh voice inside shape how we feel, how we show up, and what we believe we deserve. But let me ask you something. If that voice in the mirror were another person, would you let her talk to you like that? Right? Would you invite her into your home? Would you trust her with your heart? Of course not. So why do we allow ourselves to be our worst critic, our hardest judge, our coldest voice? Here's the truth. The mirror listens. And more than that, you listen. Every time you speak unkindly to your reflection, your brain registers it. Your heart absorbs it. Your energy lowers, and your confidence, your joy, your peace, they all start to shrink. But the opposite is also true. When you stand in front of that mirror and choose kindness, when you say you are beautiful, even when you don't fully believe it, something begins to shift. Because your words create your reality. And the words you say to yourself are the blueprint of how you live. It's not about being fake or delusional. It's about choosing to speak from a place of love rather than lack. It's about understanding that your soul hears everything you say about yourself. And it either grows or it breaks under the weight of your voice. So speak gently, look yourself in the eyes and say, you're doing your best. Say, you've survived things most people don't know about. Say, you're worthy of love, rest, and joy, just as you are. Don't wait until you've reached your goals. Don't wait until the weight is gone or the money is up or the relationship is perfect. Speak kindly to the woman you are right now, because she is carrying the weight of becoming, and she deserves grace, not judgment. Make it a daily ritual, not a performance, but a promise. Each morning, pause for just a few seconds. Stand still, breathe, look deeply into your own eyes, not through them, and instead of rehearsing every flaw, every mistake, every reason to doubt, tell her she's enough. Even if your voice shakes, even if your mind resists it, even if it feels awkward or forced, say it anyway, because over time, your soul will begin to believe what your mouth dares to declare. And no, speaking kindly to the mirror won't solve every problem, but it changes something fundamental. It changes your relationship with yourself. And that's where all other healing begins. When you love yourself out loud, you stop tolerating quiet disrespect. You stop accepting less than you deserve. You stop chasing validation from people who can't even see you clearly. Because you see you. And that kind of self-recognition, it's powerful, it's magnetic, it's healing. So many women spend years waiting to be seen, waiting for someone else to tell them they're beautiful, worthy, valuable, or enough. But you don't have to wait. You can walk over to that mirror and become your own witness, your own cheerleader, your own validation. You can rewrite the script. You can trade self-criticism for compassion. You can replace judgment with joy. You can turn that mirror from a weapon into a window, a place where you meet not your flaws, but your truth. And here's the beautiful part. When you change the way you speak to yourself, you change the way you speak to others. You begin to offer grace more freely. You begin to celebrate other women instead of comparing yourself to them. You stop competing and start connecting, because kindness doesn't just flow inward, it flows outward too. And it all starts with a decision, not a dramatic one, not a perfect one, just one choice. Today I will speak kindly to the mirror. I will honor the woman I see, not for who she might become, but for who she already is. That one act, done daily, done consistently, it's not small, it's everything. There's a power that lives inside every woman, not in her titles, not in her appearance, not in what the world sees, but in what she knows to be true. But here's the thing, truth is slippery when it's not written. It can be drowned out by noise, buried under pressure, forgotten in the chaos of the day. That's why, if you want to stay grounded, focused, and in alignment with your real self, There's one practice you must hold sacred. Write your truth daily, not once a month, not just when everything is falling apart, not only when life feels calm and perfect, every single day. Pick up the pen, open the notebook, and pour your soul out on the page. Why? Because journaling is not about being a writer. It's about being awake. Awake to your emotions. Awake to your patterns. Awake to your desires. A woman who writes her truth becomes a woman who knows her truth. And a woman who knows her truth, she is unshakable. See, life will always try to tell you who you are. You'll hear it in the media, you'll hear it in your family's expectations, you'll feel it in the silent comparison to others. If you're not careful, you start living someone else's story, chasing goals that aren't even yours, accepting roles that don't fit you, shrinking dreams that scare other people. But when you write every day, even if it's messy, if it's emotional, even if it doesn't make sense, you start to remember who you really are. You start to see patterns. What triggers your anxiety? What lights you up? What you keep longing for but haven't yet claimed. Journaling shows you where your soul is whispering. And that whisper, that's your direction. That's your alignment. That's your truth trying to guide you back home. Write it. Write when you're proud of yourself. Write when you're disappointed. Write when you're overwhelmed. When you're inspired, when you're heartbroken, when you're healing. Because the page doesn't judge you. The page doesn't interrupt you. The page doesn't ask you to be strong. It just receives. And sometimes that's all we need, to be heard, even if it's only by ourselves. When you write daily, you begin to build a mirror of your own becoming. You get to look back and say, I made it through that. You get to see how far you've come. You get to witness the growth that would have gone unnoticed. And when life gets hard again, because it always will, you hold the proof in your hands that you are resilient. You've been here before. You've felt the fear and kept going. You've doubted and still showed up. You've bent, but you never broke. You wrote through it, you grew through it, and you'll do it again. Writing your truth daily is also an act of self-trust. It tells your soul, I care enough to pay attention to you. It tells your inner child, you are safe to speak here. It tells your future self, I'm not letting your voice be forgotten. It's one of the most intimate, healing, and empowering things you can do. And don't overthink it. You don't need perfect grammar. You don't need the right notebook. You don't need a formula. All you need is honesty. Raw, messy, real honesty. Write like no one's reading, because no one is. This isn't performance. It's permission. It's permission to tell the truth, not the filtered version, not the edited version, but the real beating heart truth that lives beneath the surface. Because every time you write it, you reclaim a piece of yourself. The world teaches women to edit their truth, to make it smaller, softer, more acceptable. But when you write for yourself, you write without apology. And that's where your power lives, in those moments of clarity, in those confessions you've never said out loud, in those dreams that scare you because they're so big, but you still write them down because part of you dares to believe they're possible. That's where you meet yourself. Not the version the world wants, but the version your soul is calling for. So make it a ritual. Light a candle, sit on the floor, open a fresh page, and ask yourself, what's true for me today? Not what should be true, not what you wish was true, but what is. Be brave enough to face it. Be soft enough to hold it. Be wise enough to learn from it. Because when you commit to writing your truth daily, you stop running from yourself. You become your own clarity, your own comfort, your own compass. And you realize you were never lost. You just hadn't listened deeply enough. Now you are. Now you're writing. Now you're home. There comes a point in every woman's life where she must decide. Not who she wants to please, not what she's willing to tolerate, but what she refuses to sacrifice. And at the very top of that list should be her energy. Because your energy, that's your crown. It's your power. It's the invisible force that fuels your voice, your dreams, your boundaries, your joy. And when it's unprotected, everything suffers. Your focus, your peace, your creativity, your confidence, your health. But let's tell the truth. We weren't taught to guard it. We were taught to be available, to always smile, to say yes even when our soul was screaming no, to attend every invitation, fix every problem, return every call, and absorb every emotion, as if that's what made us good or kind or worthy. But that isn't kindness. That's exhaustion wearing a polite mask. And it's time to take it off. You are not here to serve the world at the cost of your spirit. You are not here to carry other people's chaos while yours goes unattended. You are not here to spend your days drained, depleted, resentful, calling it love or loyalty or responsibility. You are here to stand in your light, and that light needs protecting. You must protect your energy like a queen guards her crown, because no one else will do it for you. Queen doesn't hand her crown to just anyone. She doesn't pass it around the room hoping someone will treat it with care. She wears it with purpose. She keeps it high. She honors the weight of it. And she knows this: if I don't protect it, they will ruin it. The same is true of your energy. You cannot keep giving your time, your heart, your presence to people and places that leave you feeling smaller. You cannot keep attending arguments you didn't ask for. You cannot keep explaining your worth to people who refuse to see it. You cannot keep watering dead things and calling it loyalty. At some point, you have to choose yourself, not selfishly, but sacredly. You must learn the holy art of the unapologetic no. No, I can't attend. No, I don't have the capacity for that right now. No, I will not stay in spaces that drain my spirit. And you don't owe a long explanation. You don't need their approval to guard your own peace. You don't have to feel guilty for protecting what keeps you whole. Because here's the truth. Everything you love, everything you're building, everything you dream of, depends on your energy. Your purpose needs your energy. Your healing needs your energy. Your joy, your relationships, your ability to show up fully, all of it begins with your emotional fuel. So if you keep giving it away to people who gossip, complain, manipulate, or disrespect, if you keep letting every distraction into your mental space, if you keep saying yes out of fear instead of truth, then you're not being noble, you're being unavailable to your own life. And that's too high a price to pay. You have to learn to check in with yourself. Ask, does this feed me or drain me? Does this align with who I'm becoming? Do I feel respected here? Do I feel seen? If the answer is no, walk away, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Because your peace is not up for negotiation. You've come too far. You've healed too much. You've cried too many silent tears and picked yourself up from too many dark nights to keep giving yourself to what no longer honors you. So draw the line, build the boundary, silence the phone, close the door. Say not today to the drama, the noise, the urgency that isn't yours. It is not your job to carry what breaks you. It is not your responsibility to fix people who don't want to grow. It is not your purpose to be everyone's lifeline while you drown in the background. Your purpose is to rise. Your job is to protect your rise. And your energy, that's your lifeblood. So protect it like it matters. because it does. Guard it like royalty, because you are. And the day you begin to protect your energy like a queen guards her crown is the day your life begins to shift from scattered to grounded, from tired to intentional, from surviving to thriving. Because when your energy is protected, your power becomes undeniable. There's a silence most people are afraid of, a quiet that doesn't come from emptiness, but from truth. We live in a world that praises noise. Every second of the day, something is trying to pull you out of yourself. Notifications, messages, deadlines, opinions, distractions. You scroll past 1,000 lives before you've even taken a moment to connect with your own. And without realizing it, your energy becomes scattered. Your thoughts become hijacked. Your emotions become tangled in things that were never yours to carry. You wake up plugged into the world, but completely unplugged from your soul. You're responding, reacting, running, but not aligning. That's why every woman, every dreamer, every healer, every leader must learn the sacred power of unplugging to realign. Because you weren't made to be consumed 24/7. You weren't created to constantly perform, please, or be available. You were meant to listen, not to the noise out there, but to the still, wise voice inside. And the truth is, that voice doesn't shout. It whispers. It speaks in quiet moments, in deep exhales, in long pauses, in the gentle silence of an unplugged space. But if you're always tuned into everyone else's frequency, you'll miss your own. You'll miss the signal. You'll miss the direction. You'll miss the healing that comes not from more input, but from more intimacy with your own presence. So you must practice the art of stepping back daily, intentionally, unapologetically. Unplug from the screen, unplug from the noise, unplug from the need to prove, to post, to be perceived, and return. Return to yourself, to your breath, to your body, to your essence, to the home within you that holds all the answers you keep looking for in the outside world. Because silence is not empty, it's full of wisdom, full of clarity, full of the guidance that can't reach you when your mind is full of everyone else's voices. When you disconnect, you make space for reconnection to what matters, to what's real, to what's been waiting patiently for you to notice. And here's the thing, it doesn't take hours. Sometimes just 5 minutes without your phone. 10 minutes of stillness before the world wakes up. A walk without headphones. A moment in bed at night where you stare at the ceiling and just let your thoughts float by like clouds. You don't need to meditate perfectly. You don't need the right playlist or ritual. You just need to be. And being, simply and fully, is the most radical thing a woman can do in a world that constantly asks her to do more. You don't realize how much energy you're losing until you step away from what drains it. You don't realize how loud the world is until you sit in true stillness. And you don't realize how far you've drifted from yourself until you finally sit down, unplug, and feel the distance. But the beauty is this: realignment is always one breath away, one decision away, one moment of presence away. Because everything you're chasing, peace, clarity, purpose, joy, isn't found in the next thing on your feed. It's found in the space between all that, in the quiet. But quiet is confronting, isn't it? It brings up things we've been avoiding. It makes us face what the noise helps us ignore. But that's the gift, because once you face it, you can free it. Once you feel it, you can heal it. You must learn to sit with yourself without needing to escape, without needing to be distracted or entertained. Just sit. Just breathe. Just be. And in that space, you'll meet parts of you that have been waiting to come alive again. You'll hear your intuition louder. You'll feel more grounded, more clear, more connected. You'll move through life